A successful counterinsurgency requires more than military force. It requires all instruments of our national power, and that military and civilian leaders work together at all levels under a joint plan. Too often in Afghanistan, this is not happening. What we need is to build the same kind of relationship that exists between General Petraeus and Ambassador Crocker that they've forged in Iraq, supported by the best talent in the U.S. government and the resources necessary to prevail. Unity of command is also a principle I will bring to Washington. Too often, even as American soldiers and diplomats cooperate in the field, their superiors back home have been squabbling. Last year, the Bush administration appointed a war czar responsible for both Iraq and Afghanistan. That was a step in the right direction. But Afghanistan is sufficiently important that a separate Afghanistan czar is needed. I'll appoint a highly respected national security leader based in the White House, report directly to the President, whose sole mission will be to ensure we bring the war in Afghanistan to a successful end. Everyone knows the United States increased the number of soldiers in Iraq last year. What's well known, and what is well known, is that increase. But what's less well known is the Iraqis surged with us, adding over 100,000 security forces to their ranks. It's time for the Afghans to do the same thing. The Afghan army is already a great success story. It's a multi-ethnic, battle-tested fighting force. The problem is that it's too small, with a projected strength of only 80,000 troops. For years, the Afghans have been telling us they need a bigger army, and they are right. We needed to at least double the size of the Afghan army to 160,000 troops. The cost of this increase should not, however, be borne by American taxpayers alone. Insecurity in Afghanistan and the drug issue is the world's problem, and the world should share the cost. We must work with our allies to establish an international trust fund to provide long-term financing for the Afghan army. We also need to increase our non-military assistance to the Afghan government with a multi-front plan for strengthening its institutions, the rule of law, and the economy in order to provide a substantial, sustainable alternative to the drug trade.